About 98,000 miles, a 2000 Winnebago Chieftain 36L landing here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. I feel like this she's seen a lot. I think it had fallen into a state of disrepair. It was owned by somebody who did some work on it, and then it has some other things that could be worked on since. It's not to the point that I'm going to call it a handyman special. Like, I don't think it's gone. I'm going to kind of go the step before that, call it like a TLC special. So mechanically, virtually everything, like any major thing like your systems, the generator fires right up, the airs run well. It seems to run very nicely, but there's definitely some stuff that could use some work and some improvement. So if you're looking for a fix it and flip it project, or if you're looking for an inexpensive diesel pusher that you could put a little bit of personal elbow grease into, I think there's a ton of potential here. I like the layout overall. Like, I like the original color scheme that was all in here, but it's gone through a couple owners and some things have changed hands over the years. This does have a vaulted roof, so it gives it that kind of big, open, sort of tubular feel. Both air conditioners work well. All the lights and everything seem to work pretty nicely. You got the fans up here to give you some good airflow. The slide out over here, this is a classic sofa galley slide. You still see it used quite a bit in motorhomes. You don't see it used as much in towable RVs. Our flooring through the vast majority of the RV, with the exception of up in the cab area, has been replaced. Now, this is a laminated floor, and I found a couple places, like it doesn't even show up on camera, but in front of that rug and beside that heat register, there's a couple spots that have a give to them. Now, I've walked all over the RV. I'm not worried. It's not like it's waterlogged and you're falling through the floor. There's just a couple areas of that laminated floor that have begun the breakdown process. But frankly, this floor will probably still outlast anyone who's going to use this RV. It's there, and I don't tend to, I don't hide stuff, you know. If I see something, I say something. That's just kind of how I am, and that's the way we do business. Now, the folks, we're selling this here on consignment. And don't let that mess your head up. We can still do hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, everything in between. It doesn't matter. Everything that we always do here at Haylett RV, we can still do on this coach for you. We can still take trades even, you know. But the folks that we are selling this for, they were from Washington State. They drove to Arizona to collect this RV. They got to Texas, or rather, they took a trip like through Texas, then through the Midwest. They were visiting some family in mid-Michigan, where we are located. Well, north of us, anyway. Anyway, they got as far as Illinois, and they just went, we are not motorhome people. So they bought a truck in Illinois that they used to drive around after they left this here, so that we could sell it for them on consignment. So that's kind of the funny history of this. Now, anything beyond that, I don't really have a good grasp on what the history is. The most recent owners, the ones we're selling it for, though, they did some entertainment center updates here. Added this electric little heating fireplace and whatnot. They say works absolutely great. Takes a ton of the chill out of the air. That being said, they've only owned this thing for like 30 days, so it hasn't been cold enough to really need to use like the propane system and whatnot. So that is something that we haven't personally checked here at Haylett RV, because the weather hasn't, you know, been at the degree that we can really do that effectively due to the way thermostats work. So pretty simple up front here. It does have a driver's jump door, very handy at filling stations, which is something you just don't see in the modern market very much anymore. Tucked over here in the corner past the you know, master control panel, you see we've got the your you know, big rig kind of transmission setup, and down below here our leveling system. Now, everything again, big mechanical, expensive objects seem to work well. What this RV needs is a good deep cleaning and a couple cosmetic fixes and a few small mechanical fixes. And I will show you what I mean by small mechanical fixes, primarily when we get outside, because the interior of the RV, everything seems to be in pretty good working order. As we flip our way around here, I like anytime you get door side dining, I like that. And I do like that 4-door, 12 cubic foot fridge freezer. That is a welcome addition. When this was built, a lot of RVs, even motorized units, didn't have that. Now, in the outside storage compartment of this thing, there are a pair of guest chairs, so that does have the original seating arrangement all present and accounted for. Passing through here, oh, nope, I don't want to pass over this. Like I said, if I see something, I say something. The slide, like this flooring that I'm standing on, this kind of click-plank laminate stuff, this is not the original flooring. It sits up higher than the original flooring, and it looks like the slide has caught it a couple times coming in and out. It doesn't look like it's going to get any worse than it is currently, but it's also not magically going to get any better on its own either, of course. Walk-through middle bathroom, as is pretty common in the motorized industry. And looking around, like skylights and everything, it looks like overall, like the roof and everything on this has been pretty sound. It's just the surface level stuff could definitely use a once-over. The big bathroom door here, extra large to make it easy to pass through. That kind of will click in place and act like your privacy door to get in here into the bathroom. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the flooring here, but looking at the footprint of it, it looks like somebody had a little, like a floor mat that wraps around a toilet here that probably got hot, and it looks like it partially melted to the floor. And that sounds crazy, but remember where I said these folks picked this rig up from? Arizona. I mean, it gets warm in Michigan, but it gets scorching hot in areas like Arizona, where they collected this coach from, so it's very possible that, you know, that floor mat thing could have melted there. This does not have a bed slide, so the majority of our like personal bedroom closet storage is going to be here in this sort of mirrored doorway. And up top you might have noticed a couple things. This is some of that outside minor mechanical stuff, like a couple of the struts that hold the baggage doors open could be replaced. I think about half of them could be replaced, and about half of them seem to be working well still, and obviously a couple have simply been removed for whatever reason. Looks like somebody added a TV back here into the bedroom, add their handy little coat rack to be able to have a place to hang some clothes. Good breeze windows on both sides of the bedroom though. You're going to get a look at my midsection as we pass by that headboard mirror. Now, I've never seen someone basically stop at a Home Depot, grab a residential AC or furnace filter, and just kind of slap it up under the air conditioner grid right here. And while not the ideal way to provide AC, filtering on your cold air intake, I suppose it is effective. And that's kind of what I mean by it needs a couple little pieces of help here and there. It's a TLC special, but your big, bad, expensive stuff, I don't think you're going to have to worry about here. So if you are a little bit of a handy person, you like Pinterest, you like some DIY stuff, I think this would be a good winter project coach for somebody, and then come springtime you could either flip this thing and probably do well, or just have a good summer full of happy camping. The coach has most definitely been used almost exclusively in sun country. That is pretty obvious just from the general sort of slight fade in hue on all the red areas. That's one of the hiccups with red. Like, red looks awesome on an RV, but it is the very first color to fade. It will actually fade quicker than black, even though black will absorb more solar radiation. Of course, we're a wide body, like most diesel pushers are, so that does maximize your living space. Slide storage here. They do have storage mounted right on the face of the slide, and I wanted to have these open for you, but these were some of those gas struts that could probably use replacement. That being said, you don't necessarily have to do that to still be able to use the coach and have it functional. I like it whenever the storage is mounted on the slide, because that does make it easier to get to rather than ducking under the slide out. But that also means that this coach now lacks a pass-through compartment that a lot of people like on a diesel pusher. So, I mean, everything is a give and a get. The tires actually look okay. Now, I haven't checked the age code on them. If you're curious about that, give us a call. But, again, these folks are making a cross-country trek. The tires don't look bad. They don't really look bad at all. By the way, I think there was about 240 hours on the generator. I realized I talked about mileage, but not the generator previously. Backing up here, it's very common on big motorhomes to see little scuffs on these corners from maybe it had kind of tail swiped around something. You can kind of see a little scuff, little bump. It's not the end of the world kind of thing, but it's certainly not the greatest of concerns I think somebody might have on this coach. Overall, what I like is I don't see where that fiberglass rear cap has ever been like cracked or busted open or anything of that nature. We'll hop up on that ladder in a minute. Actually, I haven't been up there yet. Usually I take a picture up there and then I climb back down and do my video. So we're going to go visit that together, and who knows what we'll find. I also like the shielded awnings. So I haven't had that awning open, but in theory, it should be far more protected from the sun than an exposed awning, and given the fact that this was used in sun country, that's a pretty big deal. Now, your most frequently used baggage doors are probably going to be these right here, and thankfully the struts on those are still in good working order. Now, you notice a very inexpensive little Costco step stool in front of the steps here. As I mentioned previously, the owners collected it in Arizona. They started doing some touring around. When they got to Texas, the power steps stopped working. We don't know why yet. We haven't had a chance to diagnose that. They haven't asked us to diagnose it here at Haylett RV. This is not a coach we own, so naturally it's not a coach we can spend diagnosis dollars on without the previous owners, or the current owners rather, blessing, because it's not our money we would be spending. So if that's something you're curious about, I'm sure that's something we can look into. And this is kind of one of those things like if you're buying a house, you just write up an offer with stipulations. What do you need to feel comfortable buying this coach? Same thing. So let's go peek at that roof, we'll see what's going on up there. Alright, so we're seeing this for the first time together. Let's see what we see. The roof has obviously been coated. You can, like you can see where it's had one of those kind of roll-on sort of coatings on it. You can peek around the air conditioner. You can see the original roof right below that. So that's kind of a sun protection method that they had put on here. What's going on with this skylight? It looks like the sun is, as it always does, slowly winning the war with the seals here around the skylight. Skylights usually tend to have seals degrade first because the skylight will pick up and generate and hold extra heat, so these seals get a little worn out a little faster. I don't believe that that's leaking currently. I think, like the rest of this RV, the roof could probably use a good sort of cleaning and spot touch once over. Well, like I said, I think that is a fair assessment for everything I'm seeing. Now, I've walked all over this roof. I can't find any areas where it's had, like, there's not bad soft spots. That AC shroud has seen some sun for sure. The screws that kind of hold it on have sort of wind buffeted and rattled a little bit and cracked. It looks like it's okay. Like, it's not something you have to go, oh God, I gotta go fix that right now, but probably in a year or two you'd want to consider something like that. The front termination strip looks good. That reminds me. Once again, if I see something, I say something. There was one other thing inside the passenger's cockpit window I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of. I noticed over here under this window, as seems to be the case with a lot of motorized RVs, there is a little bit of crackly wallpaper. Now, the wall feels pretty solid on the outside. There is a little give to it in here. So what I don't know is, was that window left open when it rained? Was there a previous leak that has since been addressed? Or is that just an area of high concentrations of condensation collection? I don't know. All I know is it's there now, and that's really what you need to know. And I want to make sure that you know about that, because once again, we're just not the kind of place we just don't hide stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And if, you know, that means that this isn't the right coach for you, I fully respect it. That's why I went out of my way to be very fair with you today. If, for the right money, you consider taking her home, give us a call. Let's work something out. Let's figure out what we got to do to get you rolling. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.